Jamie Porter Lara puts a new twist on an ancient tradition.
What I'm doing by using this ancient method of Pueblo-style ceramics is connecting myself to this place. And what I am doing by using the iconography of the plastic bottle is to connect myself to this place in time. Well, something that interested me about this project, which I sometimes talk about as a reverse archaeology, where I am using the tools of the past to dig into the present and future, is that it collapses the distance between what we see as an artifact and how we regard contemporary trash. And I'm really interested in asking questions about what's trash and what's artifact and what's art, what is trash and what's art. And I'm interested in how the way we answer those questions says something about how we regard ourselves as a species. So what we're after here is about 1,000 degrees on the inside. So a couple of years ago, I was traveling with a group of artists down near the US-Mexico border in an area where people were still migrating through. And I was just exploring, walking around, walking up and down arroyos in the region of the border fence. And it's possible to find all kinds of things that have been left behind by people passing through. And the main thing that I found were plastic 2-liter bottles that migrants had used to carry water and then discarded when they were done. I started to think about the continuity of the culture that had inhabited that area. And so in that same region where I was finding plastic bottles, it was also possible to find potsherds and ruins and things that we consider to be artifacts. And so it was in that context that I just started to think about the plastic bottle as a contemporary artifact. In Mexico, one of the things that we were there to do was to learn how to make Pueblo-style ceramics from the Gallegos family. So we were in a little town of Mata Ortiz where these very accomplished expert potters taught us their method, which mirrors the method in which ceramics have been made in the desert in this part of the world for almost 2,000 years. It was out of the combination of those experiences that this image of the form of the plastic bottle made into a ceramic piece in this style that I had just learned came to me. There's a great deal that's beautiful about the components of a plastic bottle. The bottom is a pentagram, and the top is a spiral, and both of those are forms that we have seen represented throughout human history. Part of my interest here is in looking differently at the plastic bottle so that we might be able to see the human creativity that goes into it, as opposed to simply regarding it as waste. One of the things that I'm thinking about is how the things that we make are remaking us as a species. And so if you think about humans made plastic, the chemicals from plastic are in the environment, and now they're in our bodies. And now our bodies are changing as a result. We're actually transforming as a species. In that, we have one more example of how those lines that we believe divide us from nature or from technology, those don't really exist. There isn't a line between what is human and what is natural and what is technological. So you can see the bottom is like the bottle, and I'm gonna have to work on that a lot more. So I spend a lot of time outdoors in places that we call wilderness. People who spend much time outdoors are familiar with the leave no trace ethic. And it's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately because I think it says a lot about how we regard ourselves in relation to nature. I think that it's interesting that in the way that we have constructed nature, we have written ourselves out of the story. And as an artist, I bristle at the mandate of leave no trace because I think, number one, what it says is that the only trace I could leave is destructive. And number two, it completely eliminates the possibility that my existence or presence on this planet can't possibly be creative or a contribution. It's almost as if the best we can be as humans is to do no harm. And as an artist, I feel like I want to do one better, which is that I want to create something that the earth needs. There's a way in which this project for me is about grappling what it means to be an artist who makes things in a culture of too many things. And I'm making things that imitate the things that we have too many of. So it's this way of placing myself in the center of this predicament. And I don't know that it's the solution, but I'm really interested in the complexity of being right there in the middle of it. I think that it's essential for us to be able to understand ourselves as creative and connected beings in order to have the courage to take on the huge task that we have ahead of ourselves in dealing with the environmental crises that we're facing. If we keep telling a story of apocalypse, where humans are nothing but ambulatory pollutants, and if the story of nature is just one of decline, where before humans arrived on the scene, it was the Garden of Eden, and we've basically fallen from nature, never to return, I'm not sure how we pull out of that nosedive. I think we need a different story. And so that's what I'm trying to create for myself here, at least, is the possibility that what I can imagine or what I can create forms a kind of connection that is important and necessary for the world.